Well, check it out, y'all. We got what you need. We're all living in apartments, condos, vans. Well, dude, even you can have a studio in a box. Yes, we can help you with that right here at Blind Knowledge. We work on your budget, and we figure out your measurements. We'll get you the best sound for the best price. Let me know, 877-237-1143 or at blindknowledge.com. Yep.
That's right. Welcome back to Maniacal Music Musings. I'm your host, Jeremy, and we're your musers, here to steal away the night with our godless noise, because there ain't no Jesus here. We're emotional creatures, here to celebrate St. Satan's Day with the werewolves of Armenia. It's fun, trust me. Mr. Crowley has taught us to take the church by storm in the name of the seven deadly saints. My co-host is here, of course, brought back via resurrection by erection, as a ripe fruit for the wicked he is. He pants like a dog without water as he has the revelation of his suicide solution. He's the midnight messiah in Moscow after dark who tries to eat my tongue for some weird fucking reason, I don't know. Makes me question, where do I belong, good sir, as the shape-shifting reptilian overlords control your mind? I'm over here trying to watch no-bone movies while you're looking at me, looking at you. Motherfucking Chancy Grife!
Hi.
And that's right. Your musers are back once again, and I fucking enjoyed the shit out of that intro. I'm saying that right now. I wrote that, and I was fucking pleasuring my mind writing that, basically, in a way. I had kids around. I couldn't do anything else. But we are joined once again by another amazing guest who wants to come and talk music with the musers. Oh, dude, that should be our show name. Music with the musers. What the fuck? But would have been easier people remember, too. But our guest tonight is Dick Wybrow, best-selling supernatural thriller author and stand-up comedian in the past, I believe. How you doing tonight, Dick?
Good, man. And it's actually this afternoon where I am, because I am in Auckland. I am in Auckland, New Zealand, where I am in the future. It is summer here right now, allegedly. It's been raining since last January, I think, every day in Auckland, but supposedly summer is coming. We've been promised a drought, which I'm very excited about. I know you're supposed to be worried about those things, but I'm crossing fingers and toes and do an anti-rain dance, anything I can. I just want to be able to see the sun is all I want to do. Although here in Auckland, in New Zealand, we've got a special kind of sun. I don't know. It's because there's a bit of a hole in the ozone sort of thing going on, which is bad, right? But so apparently this time of year, it kind of expands a little bit more, and it's seasonal. This I didn't know. So the ozone kind of like it shrinks in the winter and it expands in the summer. And so when you go out in the summertime, you walk around, and I'm pretty pale, even though I've actually got some Maori in me. I've got a lot of Irish in there as well, and so I'm pretty pale. And so when I go out into the sunlight here, when that ozone's wide open like a lens, man, I can feel it. I can hear my skin sizzling, and I'm looking forward to the day that I get a nice 3rd-degree burn from the sun, because I haven't seen it in months. So that's what's happening here right now. Although I know you guys got winter where you are at the moment, but it's got the summer's got to come here. I've got to get my sun again.
Yeah, it's winter here. We got a nor'easter coming, at least to the East Coast this weekend. Nice. So yay! But
and then Chancy, you're down in Iowa, so you've got those special. You've got those snows in Iowa, whereas just the state just closes. I remember growing up in the Midwest.
I'm trying not to jinx anything. That's why I'm not saying a word, because like it's like you not seeing the sun. I haven't seen the other S word, and I'm trying to keep it as far away as I can. I know that's not going to last too much longer, but I'm going to take all the no snow I can get.
Man, I was up in Waterloo, Iowa one winter, and that's a special kind of cold. you know, when that snow comes in and shuts you down, because I was there for a Christmas. And it was just, and everybody's sort of prepared. You got stuff in your house in case you can't open the door because of the snow. that is a foreign concept to a lot of people, but yeah, no, I know me some Iowa snow, man, and I'm there with you.
Yeah, it's never pretty. East Coast or Iowa, it's never pretty, honestly. But fucking, if we've had none of it yet either, and I'm praying that we just get rain this weekend. Oh, well, okay. I have my reason for wanting a storm too, though. But that's different reasons. But
I love storms. I miss storms. We don't have thunderstorms out here so much. Well, I don't know what it is here in New Zealand. They don't have lightning and thunderstorms. Lightning here freaks them out because it's just not a common occurrence. Like up in the Midwest, man, we get just ones that rattle the windows. I miss that, actually. I miss that sort of implied power of God thing coming in, where you look up at the sky and go like, what did we do? what have we done?
Or the nights when it's so hot that you just get lightning for no reason just because it's hot out. It's like, fuck, it's fucking hot out. I'm going to be sparkly about it.
Yeah, jazz hands. Right.
Exactly. Well, we are here to talk about music, of course, and what episode we have for you tonight. These 3 albums, I am beyond excited for every single fucking one of them. So let's get started off with Dick telling us what album he wanted to bring.
So I'm an old rocker from like the 80s. And so, you know, I was one of those kids in school that used to wear the black concert T-shirts with the sleeves torn off. I don't know if the kids today do that anymore, but this is what we used to do. And so I try to go through. So like it was tough to kind of pick just one album because I got a lot that I love. But I'd probably go with Ozzy's first solo album, 1980, Blizzard of Oz, which I really dig that.
Mr. Crowley, what went on in your head? Oh, Mr. Crowley, did you talk to the dead? Your lifestyle to me seems so tragic, and the thrill of it all.
You know, it's got the big, it's got a bit of a power ballady thing in there. It's got some legal action in there, and it's got one of the all-time greatest heavy hard rock songs, I guess, of all time. So no, it's a great album.
Well, Chancy, what did you think of Dick's album as of any asked?
Honestly, I was stoked because it's been almost 20 years since I've actually listened to the album. And getting to listen to it again and having it be the remastered version with all the little extra stuff that you get with there, it was a refreshing taste of nostalgia, as well as, you get the extra stuff like, some of that live stuff thrown in there. You're just like, oh, okay, all right. And honestly, I couldn't say anything bad. I mean, it's Randy Rhoads. It's Randy fucking Rhoads, man. Like they could have took all the vocals and every other instrument out except for Randy Rhoads, and it'd still be solid in my book.
Yeah, I kind of have to 100% agree with what Chancy said. I mean, it's Ozzy, so well, to be honest, my listeners, Dick gave me a choice between 2 albums, like a lot of guests will do, because they'll say like, "Which one do you want me to bring?" And I honestly don't even remember what the other one was because it was so long ago. But it had to. I mean, out of the 2, it had to be fucking Ozzy because we haven't had any Ozzy albums on at all, solo or group. And it's been almost a year and a half now, at least, since we started this show. So, I mean, I was kind of surprised at that. So I'm like, you know what? Ozzy needs to come on the show finally. It's been about fucking time. And fuck Blizzard of Oz. I mean, I am 100% not the biggest Ozzy fan in the world. Like, I'm just not. Like, I love his music. I will not turn off his music if it's on the radio, or if it comes up on my Spotify playlist, I'll not turn it off. But it's just, I don't go looking for Ozzy's music. It's just a thing. I mean, Black Sabbath, I listened to so much when I was younger. It got overplayed, and I just can't listen to it too much anymore because I listen to it so fucking much. I mean, Electric Funeral, War Pigs, all those. I listened to them like constantly on burnt CDs back in the day. So I just got overplayed with Black Sabbath. And Ozzy solo stuff, I was really into his solo stuff in the 2000s when he released
No More Tears.
Yeah, when he released No More Tears, there was 2 albums he released like back to back, like couple years apart, and I loved both of those. Black Rain, I think, was one of the albums, but I love those albums are amazing. I love those albums, and I almost wanted to bring one of those today, but I'm like, nah, I'm not bringing 2 Ozzy albums to a show. I can't.
I would have done the same thing. I would have brought another one. If you both would have picked an Ozzy album, I would have fucking picked an Ozzy album too. And like, nope.
I mean, I couldn't do it with Prince. I'm not gonna do it with Ozzy. I'm not gonna bring 2 Ozzy albums. I couldn't bring 2 Prince albums on the show, or 3. It would have been 3 Prince albums, I'm pretty sure. But so I mean, it's Ozzy. I never actually listened to this CD all the way through. I've only heard random songs off it and covers of some of these songs from other bands. So which I'll get into, but I did enjoy the CD immensely. And I mean, it was Ozzy. I knew what I was going into. I knew the guitarist was amazing. I knew Ozzy's voice is amazing and very unique. No one can match his voice. So,
and I love the album too, because like all of our favorite albums to some extent, it's not just the music on it. It's not just, the singer, guitar player, percussion, whatever it might be. It's also sort of reminds you of a bit of a time. Our favorite albums, you kind of attach, it has a bit of an emotional connection to it. And so this, for me, I actually caught onto this album a little bit late. It would have been late 80s because this came out in 1980. And I had just moved to Dallas, and I was sort of like, I didn't know anybody at the time. And I met this one dude who was really into Ozzy, and he really got me introduced into it. And he was a guitar player. And so we'd sit around in his room and we'd be getting stoned, and he would just be playing, along with the album, trying to keep up with Randy. Good luck with that. But it was just one of those. And then over the years, just more and more, how I just kept on coming back to it. And just when I went and saw Ozzy in concert, I think I actually saw Ozzy probably before I got into the solo stuff. I'm trying to remember. But anyways, I think it was the first time I'd ever heard a dude say, "I love you" on stage. So here you go to this rock concert, rawr, hook 'em horns and all this. Here's the guy that bit the head off a bat and was accused of being a Satanist. And he's up there literally saying how much he loves people. And I had never heard that before. This wasn't something that in the 80s or maybe even the very early 90s that dudes kind of just said. And he just didn't care. This is how I feel. I'm worth billions, so I can say whatever I want. And so for all the sort of negative press he got, because he got a lot of negative press and took a lot of heat in the 80s, he's a warm dude, And I think even he knows that if it wasn't for some amazing people around him, he'd be dead. He'd be a long time dead.
As Nikki Sixx said in his biography, if it wasn't for Sharon, Ozzy would have been dead a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, and this is Nikki Sixx telling stories of Ozzy wearing a sundress in the streets of London, pissing in the streets. So yeah.
Well, from what I know of the story, and I am not an Ozzy expert at all, but from what I know of the story, after Sabbath broke up, that Ozzy pretty much locked himself in a hotel room, did drugs for a couple of months, and he was heading down that path. And Sharon was the one, and I don't think they were together yet at that point, but Sharon was the one who said, "Okay, you're done." Dragged his ass out, got him to make an album, and what a hell of an album he made. Blizzard of Oz is great, and I think there's some allusion to that. One of the songs that I liked from the album, bit of an I always felt that Suicide Solution. It's a song that Ozzy ended up getting sued for in the 80s. A California couple had accused Ozzy of inciting their child to take his own life, and obviously the case got dropped. But it was one of those that could have set a bit of a precedent. But I always felt that song and the way the progression of it, because in the end it gets a little bit lighter, was probably a little bit how he had felt in that hotel room, like I got nothing left anymore, this sort of thing. But I think he had claimed at one point it was about Bon Scott from AC/DC, but most people think that it was about him. So no, that's one of the tracks on the album that I really dug.
Well, while we're talking about tracks you dug, why don't you give us your top 5 for your album?
So I would say, number 5 is Suicide Solution. Goodbye to Romance. I love that. It's a cool, slow track. It's one of those that you pull a lighter out to in the concert, right? You flick it out when I'll start singing. I'd say my number 3 would be I Don't Know. It's a great opening track, real powerful, great lyrics and guitar riffs, and a bit of an allusion to sort of this, again, Ozzy being very sort of real. Like I always took it as him saying that because he was a bit of a star and had done so well that people were like coming to him almost like a guru. He's like, I don't ask me. I'm just making this up as I go along. And Mr. Crowley, which is a great tune. A bit of a nod to Aleister Crowley, the very famous Satanist. And I think to some extent that was probably a bit of Ozzy thumbing his nose at all the detractors saying that he was a Satanist. But still, in itself, a great song. And of course, Crazy Train, which everybody knows. I mean, even fans of Ozzy know that song, which has an amazing riff. I always thought many years ago that, going off the rails, I always thought it was about him doing coke. but when you take a look at the lyrics, actually, no, it was actually at the time, it's about Cold War. It was about the Cold War. And I've actually met people in recent years that don't know what have heard the term, but don't know what it is. Basically, it's just Russia versus the U.S., and they sort of stood there toe to toe. No one fired a shot, but we had plenty of casualties was the idea. But it was just the mania behind it. And so this was, you could argue this was Ozzy's anti-war song with a great riff. In fact, I think Guitar Magazine named it one of the top 9 or top 10 solos of all time. So it's just a great party tune. It's a great album. It's one I really enjoy. Like I said, it's not just the music on it, but also those amazing memories of getting to know Gary, a good friend of mine in Dallas when I didn't have a lot of other people around. And so it's real special to me.
All right. Well, there you go. And I'm actually trying to, maybe. Because, nope. Because we're doing the Rolling Stone Top 500 in a bracket. And you got me curious to if Crazy Train's on it even. I mean, I feel like it has to be.
It'll definitely be in the top 500. I'm sure it would be.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be, but I'm getting up to. Was it one of the ones we did already, Chancy?
No.
That's not on there.
What? Wouldn't surprise me. Fucking Rolling Stone couldn't tell a fucking good song from a hole in the ground anyway.
I mean, the only thing that came up when I was searching was "Crazy in Love" and by Beyonce and "Crazy" by Gnarls
fucking
Barkley.
course. Yeah, no, it makes sense. Makes sense.
I mean,
metals.
Yeah,
I got a chance over the years to interview Ozzy a couple of times when I was doing radio because they'd call in with concert stuff like that. A real warm dude, and I know you've probably heard it before, or maybe you've heard one of his radio interviews, but you only understand about every third word. And over the years, it got harder and harder to understand the guy. And I mean, he admits to a lot of the drug and alcohol use. And then there was something to be said for like that he has some condition or something. I don't know if we heard about this, but basically, I think he's just fried himself out. But he was always laughing, seemed to have a great time. And I know that anytime he's speaking to me, old boy wasn't dialing the phone. Somebody was boop, 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 handing the phone to Ozzy. You had no idea who he was talking to. But no, always a good cat. And I like it for the album.
I can imagine him just picking up the phone like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" Like, it's just. Yeah,
he would talk and he'd be like, "Oh, you guys don't get into the whole thing with the VIP there." You're like, "Yeah, exactly." I have no idea what you just said. In part two, because he's got a bit of an accent, but he's got his own Ozzy accent. So no, he's a good cat.
I'm pissed off now. There's not one Ozzy song in the top 500. Damn it!
I'm really not surprised.
I'm not surprised, but. I mean, if they're gonna put fucking that Motorhead song that was in the finals in the last part, if they're gonna put Ace of Spades versus like in there, like Crazy Train is right up there with Ace of Spades in everybody's book of classic rock legendary songs. So, I mean, I don't know, but Chancy, what were your top 5 Ozzy songs if you could narrow it down to 5 even?
Actually, well, I had 7. 7 was Suicide Solution. 6 was Crazy Train. Number 5 was Goodbye to Romance. Right. Number 4 was the split for me. One of them was D, and then the other one is the outtake that Randy Rhoads did on that solo. I fucking loved it, dude. I was listening to it, and what I'll do is I'll put it on an album, and I'll start to play a game that I've played a million times before. So I'm kind of just zoning out, taking it all in, and then all of a sudden we get to that one. It's like only like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, something like that. And it's just literally just guitar. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this? And I click on it. I'm like, oh my God, it's an outtake. Fucking Soul to the Man with Gray in his hair. And normally I'd put that stuff at number 1. But with it being Ozzy and the other stuff that I have up there, I couldn't bring myself to do it. Number 3 was Revelation.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2 was Mr. Crowley, and number 1 for me was I Don't Know, because it was like that was one of the first songs that I actually kind of learned as far as by accident. Just you hit the A string and then you hit the A chord and you're like, wait a second. And then you start fucking with that A string and you're like, wait a minute. And then you kind of learn how it's done and you're like, that's it? Really? That's fucking it? And then you get all the other extra stuff in there and like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, Randy, I get you.
Well, I actually had 7 too, Chancy. They're not similar at all, but I had 7 as well. Actually, it's funny. I think I have a couple that no one else said. But my number 7 was No Bone Movies, because I didn't know what the fuck to expect when I saw that title. And I was just like, huh? And I was like, I listened to it. I'm like, all right, it's got decent guitar. I'm like, it can go in there honorable mentions. And the other honorable mention, number 6, is Looking at Me, Looking at You, because I like that song. It's catchy. And I've heard it before. I mean, I know I've heard covers of it. It's a good song if when any band wants to do that one. But and then my number 5, my number 3, I never heard before, and they freaking blew me away. Number 5 was Revelation, Mother Earth, because the guitar in that was incredible, and I liked the message behind it. Number 4 is Run Through Crazy Train, because it like a lot of Black Sabbath songs to me, it's so overplayed. I can't listen to that song like when it comes on mixes anymore because it's just so overplayed. I mean, rappers use it, wrestling pay-per-views used it when I was a kid. Like Jesus, like everything used it. It's just so many commercials, so many. My number 3 though was "Steal Away the Night," because that was an amazing song I never heard before, and I freaking loved it. I mean, just Randy's guitar and all these is just fucking incredible. But and then number 2 was "Suicide Solution," because I like darker songs like that in metal, and I was like, I could dig this. So it would have been number 1. It could have been number 1, but number 1 had to be Mr. Crowley, because Randy's riffs on that are fucking beyond believable good. And there's a cover Cradle of Filth does of it that I fucking love. I love how heavy they get in their cover of it, and it's just to finally hear that song like all the way through, like an Ozzy's version, is pretty cool, because now I actually know what it's based off of. I mean, I always just heard Cradle's version and freaking loved it. I'm like, I think it's on Godspeed. I think it's on Godspeed and Devil's Thunder's like bonus tracks, but it's just such a good song. Like, and I love the way Ozzy sings it too. I mean, it's definitely, of course, different than Danny Filth singing it, but he sings it beautifully. So, but those were my top 7 for Ozzy. I mean, it's fucking Ozzy. I'm trying to think, who the hell else did you? What was your other choice? Do you remember? Because I want to say Skid Row or
no. I was I did
no.
you know what? And I say that, and I shouldn't, because like I said, I don't judge anybody's taste in music. If you like something, you like it. I just don't agree. That's all it is. I was looking for something as far away from Ozzy as I could get, and since I'm down under, I went with "Cargo" by Men at Work. But they've got amazing. They do have an amazing tune on there. I love "Overkill," and there's a band called Laszlo Bane that covered that, and they did one of the coolest things of all time. You can, and if you know the song, but they had Colin James Hay do the third verse, and so. And this is back when he was a bit younger. So they hit the first 2 tracks, and then he comes in, I can get to sleep. And it's like, wow. And it's always so fun to see. A little bit like when Run DMC covered Walk This Way. And that's a great track. And then when Steven Tyler comes in, it's almost like he's been singing this song for a billion years, and now this is how he sings it a bit now. Right. And so by the time Laszlo Bane ended up doing that track Overkill, this would have been 20 years, well, maybe 15 years or so after Colin Hay originally had done the song. And he just puts a bit of a different spin on it. So it's really fun to hear his voice put a bit of a different spin on it. And he just comes in and just fills the room with his voice. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a bit of a goof band. I get that, but it's still fun.
Trust me, if you gave me any other thing about Ozzy, I probably would have went with Men at Work. I probably would have. I love Men at Work's hits. I do. I don't really listen to their other stuff, but I love Land Down Under, and I love what the hell's the art hit they have that now?
It's a Mistake was the other big one off. I think that first one. Who Can It Be Now? Off the first.
Who Can It Be Now?
Yeah, Who Can It Be Now? That's it. Yeah, that's the other one I'm thinking of. I wanted to say. I keep wanting to say Safety Dance. But I'm like, no, that's
Men Without Hats.
Yeah, Men Without Hats.
It's all men. So I mean, I wouldn't have been wrong.
Yeah,
it's like going to Chancy's. It's like going to Chancy's house on Saturday night. It's all men. But Chancy, what album? And I'm really excited for this one. What album did you want to bring this week?
Well, this week, as it is with every other, I won't break tradition on the show. Anytime I always get you guys' choices. I go to the old list and I hit shuffle. And then the first thing that comes up immediately is what I'm going to go with, except for the next album, which already has been chosen ahead of time. But I'll go into that later. I hit shuffle and Polkadot Cadaver came on, but it was something I already brought. And I was like, dude, they put out a new album this year. So that was what I chose. Their brand new album, Echoes Across the Hellscape.
Days are over. Bringing your weakness to the surface. Halcyon days are over. As castles in the psyche emerge. Behold the wrath of the master's curse. A simulation ruled by the sadist lizard hordes. Shape-shifting reptilian overlords. Shape-shifting reptilian
It's not their usual kind of an album. It's a bit more heavy than some of their other stuff, which is another little treat of mine because I really love the hard element of the other band that a lot of those guys are in called Dog Fashion Disco. And it's almost like they kind of imported a little bit of that rough and rugged feeling from that into this other band, which is usually a lot more whimsical, I guess you could say, in some degree, somewhat psychedelic to another degree. But I listened to it like 3 or 4 times trying to just even find a top 5 for me, just because it was like, God damn, this is really fucking good. A lot of times there's some stuff I can skip over, but it just was like, man. And then there's stuff you look up and you realize, oh fuck, especially when you take something that really happened and turn it into an exquisite fucking song and fucking done.
Well, Dick, I'm dying to hear. What do you think of Chancy's album?
It was something I'd never heard of Polkadot Cadaver before, and you would think with a name like Polkadot Cadaver it'd be a bunch of ballads, but no. It was good. It's darker than some of the stuff I listened to. I remember it was a Typo Negative was one that got into some years ago. And that was some pretty dark ass shit. And this reminded me quite a bit of that. But there were a lot of tracks on I dug. I liked Emotional Creatures, especially where the melody came in. A Dog Without Water was kind of neat, bit of a funky start. And it kind of had a bit of a Trent Reznor sort of sound to it, a bit of a Nine Inch Nails sort of riff to it. Some of the bit of the throbbing beat and the high and low, but again, dark. But I still dug it. Eat My Tongue. It's a great song to get a speeding ticket to, especially with those rat-a-tat-tat drums. I like Mrs. Gore, one of the slower songs on the album, but I did like the driving tone to it. Godless Noise was another cool one, a great driving song. And just Catch Me If You Can. It's catchy. I something like that as a bonus. I put that as my bonus track. I'd love to see that done live. I really got a kick out of listening to that one. It's again, like I said, this wouldn't have been something I would have whipped out, but something I have to take a look at more. I'd like to hear some of their earlier stuff. Now that you've mentioned this is 2023, but I dug it.
Chloroform Girl. Yeah.
Purgatory Dance Party is their best album ever. It's amazing.
They just did a re-release of it. It was their first album that they put out, and on that album is this song that I'd said, "Chloroform Girl." If it's like a 60s folk song acoustic ballad about the most fucked up shit you can imagine. It's so great. You're gonna get part of the way through the chorus and you're gonna be like, did he just fucking say that?
Yeah. I mean, and yeah, the other band that they came from, Dog Fashion Disco, is just as fucked up in some of the shit they do. Like they have a song called "Pogo the Clown" that actually I might be going out and work with my coworkers a couple weeks to do karaoke, and if they have one of those ones where you can get any song off YouTube, I might be doing "Pogo the Clown."
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
I just want to see the look on people's faces when I do it, but yeah, Chancy decided to bring Polkadot Cadaver, and when he did, I was like, yes. As soon as I heard they released a new album a couple weeks ago, I've been dying to hear it since they didn't. I didn't have the chance to really like check it out yet, and because Chancy got me into Dog Fashion Disco and then Polkadot Cadaver, and I fucking fell in love with them. Like, they're incredible. The style of music they have is unlike anything I've ever heard in my life, and it's just whimsical. It really is just whimsical. Even Polkadot Cadaver stuff's whimsical in a way. It's some of it's heavy, some of it's not heavy. They go through so many different genres of music in their CDs that's like ridiculous. It's pure ridiculousness. So I fucking love it. And this album did not disappoint. I mean, some of the other Polkadot Cadaver albums, I can't love like I do all like pretty much all Dog Fashion Disco's albums, but they're all good. Like, I can listen to them all. It's just some of them are just hit or miss songs. But this album was pure fire. And yeah, wait till you see my top, buddy. But I was happy you whipped this out, which is something I usually don't say to you, but I was happy you whipped it out. But well, to the man with gray hair, what were your top 5-ish?
So initially I was gonna like bring the whole album. Because I mean it's only 9 tracks, so I was like, fuck it. So I did rate it all out through all 9, but I'll go ahead and just do my top 5. So
you might as well do all 9. Someone else might have done all 9 as well.
All right, well I'll do it quick. So 9 for me was Catch Me If You Can. 8 was Eat My Tongue. 7 was Godless Noise. 6 was Emotional Creatures. 5 was A Dog Without Water. 4 was Ripe Fruit for the Wicked. 3 was Where Do I Belong. Number 2 is Shape-Shifting Reptilian Overlords. And number 1 for me was fucking absolutely Mrs. Gore, because it's based on a true story. Like, there was some murder that happened down in Texas in 1980, I think is when it was. And
Right.
this lady hit this other lady with an axe 41 times and was fucking acquitted. It's like 41 times, huh? Like, goddamn.
A modern day Lizzie Borden, but
Yep.
Sort of.
Well, I believe Dick already gave us his top 5 technically. So
Yep.
Unless I'm wrong. So I did pull a Jeremy on your album, Chancy, and rank all 9 because how could I not? It's funny though, we only matched on 2 of them. My number 9 was Emotional Creatures because I thought it was gonna be a lot higher because the first song on the fucking album, but it went down pretty fast after that. Number 8 is Where Do I Belong, which I'm honestly surprised is so low, but goddamn, this album just kept getting better the longer it went. Number 7 was Eat My Tongue because I just don't like the singing style in that too much, but it was catchy ass lyrics and I did enjoy it. Number 6 was Catch Me If You Can, which I saw the title and I was like, ooh, one of my favorite movies. And I'm like, no, nothing like the movie. Okay, it can go low. But I mean, they're all amazing tracks. But I mean, number 5 was Dog Without Water because that song was fucking incredible. And I honestly wish I could be higher because it was such a fucking good song. The lyrics in that song are amazing. And number 4 is Right Foot for the Wicked because I kind of felt like that was a sequel to Pure Bedlam for Half-Breeds.
Kinda. I could see where you'd get that.
Yeah, I kind of felt like it was a sequel to that song, which is on Purgatory Dance Party, if I'm not mistaken. That's a DFD song, isn't it? Okay, yeah.
No.
I was there like
Pure Bedlam's.
Oh, it's on Purgatory Dance Party, right? Yeah, it's at the end. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right, yeah, I'm right.
Yep.
Why do I keep questioning myself? It's not like me. But number 3 was Godless Noise, because that was the first song on the album that really like blew me away. I was like, oh my god, like Godless Noise is amazing. And being that me and Chancy are heathens, that just sank it even more. But number 2 was Mrs. Gore, because that was an amazing. You know, the funny thing is though, I didn't know it was based on a murder. I thought it was based on Al Gore's wife.
Tipper Gore? No.
I thought it was about Al Gore's wife.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But
oh God, I knew I heard
it.
I was listening to this shit last night and I was thinking to myself, I was like, I'll bet $1. I was thinking to myself, I'll bet $1 Jeremy thinks it's fucking Tipper Gore. Fucking no, it's not Tipper Gore, dude.
Well, and of course that means my number 1 had to be, since I'm a paranormal podcaster, and it had to be the song about Hillary Clinton, shape-shifting reptilian overlords.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Because that song is fucking incredible. I mean, and the fact that they brought reptilians into their song, it's just made me giddy like a schoolgirl about to get candy. But I mean, Jesus Christ, it was amazing. Like that song's amazing. Like, I'm so happy I heard the CD. They're all on my I heard them all from my liked list on Spotify, so I will hear all these again. Hopefully more often than I do the other songs that are in there by Dogfish and Disco, because I don't know why they don't come up ever, but I don't do that. And thank you, Matt, for stopping by. I appreciate it, brother. Another great Parapost podcaster. So yeah, I mean, Polkadot Cadaver, fucking hey. Keep coming out with shit, guys. Please stop the long ass like pauses between albums. It pisses me off a lot. But and Dogfish and Disco need some new shit. They really do. Get back together.
I'm trying to think of
each other.
No, they're still a thing. They do shows together all the time. Oh
yeah,
they'll do a lot of. Yeah, they do. Sometimes they'll tour together. One will like they basically have a local band open, and then Polkadot will do a mid card. Dog fashion, main events, and then they'll flip it around the next night. Or if a lot of times they were doing virtual concerts where they would literally just do Polkadot, Dog Fashion, and they have another band called El Creepo, which is kind of more Todd, this lead singer's kind of brainchild or something. But they're still doing stuff, and I want to say Dog Fashion put something out at least a couple 3 years ago. So I mean, that's one thing I always I
think they did. Yeah.
That's what I like. I like the fact that they kind of take their time on it though, instead of just pumping it out just to fucking get out the content. Like,
I mean, I agree. I definitely agree. I mean, it's nice to have little breaks. I mean, Marilyn Manson needs to get off his fucking break and put another CD out. But I mean, we'll get into that in another show. And thank you, Brian. Love the compliment, and thank you for sharing. That'd be the head of Parapost Network, the man.
Oh, nice.
So for my album, because Dick wanted to bring Ozzy, and I'm just like, fuck. Why do I keep getting artists I have to have a hard time matching? And it's like the 5th one in a row, for God's sake. And I'm like, all right, who am I going to match against Ozzy? I almost went with who the fuck? I was like, do I do Iron Maiden again? No, it's been too soon. I was like, do I do Metallica? No, too soon. Do I do System of a Down? No, too soon. Fuck. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I almost brought Cradle of Filth too because of the Mr. Crowley thing, but I decided not to. And I was just like, I did that recently like twice. So no. I'm like, all right, I haven't brought this band on in a fucking hot minute, at least like 6 months. I think it has been like 6 months, Chancy, but I think it has. It was I think it was Fry's first time last time I brought them on, if I'm not mistaken. Because it was Jamie's. It was Jamie's original episode I brought him on, and then I think Fry's was the second time. But so I'm like, all right, you know what? Ozzy's from London. Let's go with some German metal, not from the same era really, but let's go with it. And I decided to bring Powerwolf's Bible of the Beast, which
Pestilent silence, torture and death. When you wake up from your life, warnings to fire, black is my breath. You're a
I've brought their first album on for, and I brought their what was their newest album at the time I brought it, and I just like, all right, I know Chancy didn't like the first album because it was too raw and they weren't really like together yet. I'm like, this is their third album. This is the album where Powerwolf came together and got like, they produced an album that has nothing but hits to me. So I can't skip one song on this album. It's a fucking incredible accumulation of great songs by a great vocalist and a great band. And I had to bring it. So I brought Bible the Beast because it's fucking Powerwolf. And who doesn't? I love Powerwolf. It's one of my favorite bands in the world. And when they tour America finally for a second time, hopefully next year, I will be going to see them live because they were literally just in America in 2023 for the first time ever after performing for 20 years. So
see, now the whole time, Jeremy, I thought you brought Powerwolf because of the books that I've written.
I honestly didn't even put that together until I was making the add-up tonight for the show.
That's nuts.
I believe in synchronicities. Things happen for a reason. So I was drawn to the wolf for some reason or another, and apparently that was the reason.
Even just your lead singer he's trained in classic opera and has a love of Romanian werewolf legends. So I'm thinking, oh, how nice! I've written a werewolf book. So the boy goes and picks a guy who sings about werewolves. How great is that? So no, you could have lied to me and said I did this for you. Dude.
I am an honest motherfucker, and as much as I will be reading your books eventually at some point, because I did look into them a little bit tonight. I was like, ooh, these sound good, and I want to read them because I love humorous paranormal type of fiction. It's always good. Like trying to think of something. I mean, like Vampire Diaries had some. Not Vampire Diaries. No, Vampire Academy had like some good fiction, good humor in there as well. Like Rochelle Mead did a good job with the humor in that. So I actually enjoyed the shit out of that sarcastic humor in those books. So I love that type of stuff. And one of my first guests in my paranormal show wrote she published one, and she has a second one coming out that I beta read. And she adds humor to it like crazy. It's freaking hilarious, like Star Wars references and stuff in it. So I fucking love her books. But the what I was going to say is the lead guitar and the rhythm guitar in the band are two brothers whose last name is Grey Wolf. That's the great thing about it too. And like I want to go to one of their shows because they literally put on like their wolf helmets on stage and just howl at the audience. Like I've seen videos of it and it looks fucking epic. It's like when freaking Odorous Ungress came out with Guara and just shot his huge fake cock at everybody, and Chancy loved that part too when he went to the concert to see War. But so I gotta hear, what did you think of Powerwolf? I love when having people hear this band for the first time.
Are you asking me?
Oh yeah, Chancy's heard before, so I'm asking you.
Oh yeah. I had heard of Powerwolf. I think probably from my son because he lives in Germany. But no, I dug it. It's one of those things too. When you come into it, we always say, we're not going to judge books or albums by their cover. You're like, oh, these guys are going to be just nuts and screaming. But man, it's power metal, heavy metal. It's exactly the sort of stuff I would listen to, and it's even melodic. In parts, it was, and like I said, I mean, Attila Dorn, he's like trained in opera, and so this dude's got some range. He's got a hell of a voice. This is definitely a band I'll be listening to more of. I dug him. I really, really did. There's not a lot of bands, I would say, in the last 15 years that really were like, oh, I could listen to a lot more of that. This is definitely one that I'll be checking out. Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, I mean, they're so big in fucking Europe that they have like full albums where it's just other bands doing their songs. Like that's how big they are in Europe, like in European metal. Like other European metal bands, I think there's 3 or 4 of them now of albums of just people doing their songs. They just released another one, so which I haven't listened to yet. And I'm dying to because it's hit and miss. Some of the bands I hate the way they do their songs because they do way too much screaming shit in them. But some of the bands are more melodic like they are, and they do it fucking amazing.
I think if radio was where it was back like in the late 90s when I was more involved in it, I think there would have been a really good chance they would have made it to radio airplay. It's a bit difficult, but I know these days, I mean it's damn near possible. But I think they would have it would have been an entirely different scenario. They're great. I really dug them.
I mean, yeah, because I love operatic singers too, because like one of my favorite female singers is Tara from Nightwish, and she is a operatically trained classical singer, and her solo stuff and her Nightwish stuff is fucking incredible because of how she sings, like, and it's heavy metal with her singing opera around it. It's fucking, it's like Trans-Siberian Orchestra if they actually sang in it, like.
Right.
I mean, so it's freaking amazing. But I'm happy you like Powerwolf. That makes me really happy because I love introducing people to like Powerwolf and my other favorite bands, because it's just, I love European metal because it's the power metal that was good in the 80s, and I feel like American metal started falling off in the early 2000s somewhat. Like I like a lot of it, but a lot of it I don't like. It just started to fall off for me. It became too emo, too whiny. I want to hear about taking down a church by storm. I don't want to hear about I cut myself today. Like, I don't want to hear that. Like, no. Yeah. But Chancy, what did you think of this third album of Powerwolf you had the pleasure of listening to?
Honestly,
Chancy,
I mean, it's not terrible. Honestly, out of all of them, I'd say this one was the most palatable. Mostly because
I just love that. That would be a great music magazine review. This one's the most palatable. I love that review.
I mean, I can't really. Normally, this would be where I'd go on a whole tirade about, Jeremy's terrible taste and this, that, and the other. But I can't do that, in all honesty, with this one. It really was. It was pretty good. I gotta give it its flowers on this one, because,
See, I know you actually really loved their first one, the first album I brought on that you said the newest one at the time, because when I brought on the first album, you were like, it sounds like they're not really like in sync yet. Like, it was the first album. Even I know that they're not. That wasn't their best work, because it was the first fucking thing they did. But by this third album, I mean the second album is pretty fucking awesome, and I'm gonna bring it out eventually. But the third album is where they really sank together perfectly, and it's one of their only albums I can't skip one song on. Like, I love all their music, but on other albums I can definitely skip past some if I hear it too often. These ones, fuck no. As soon as I see Bob with the Beast cover pop up on my fucking like list on Spotify, it's just like, okay, not skipping this. I don't care what song it is. But
yeah, I mean, it honestly, I didn't have any difficulty picking five that I enjoyed the most. I can't say is that I can't say is that I wouldn't have been able to skip over any of the songs on there. There was a couple of them I could have done without, but I mean, the names that I can't think of off the top of my head. But the ones that I have are ones that I really, really enjoyed.
I actually love the fact that you guys have very different tastes in music. It's far more interesting when people don't agree on stuff than when people agree. So it's way, way, way more interesting. But like, I mean, this is definitely one of those where, like, when I'm writing books, I often will pick an album to listen to, and I'll listen to just that album through the entire book. It's hard at the beginning because my head keeps on following the lyrics, and after a while it becomes sort of background noise. And I just started book 4 in the series, and I know Chancy won't love it, but I think I might actually pick this book as this album as the album I listen to as I write this next book in the series, because
that's pretty cool though.
Because, like I said, it's got a wolf theme in it too, which is amazing, and it's got all the sort of elements that I like in rock music, and it's enough to where there's some surprises for me every now and then. Like I said, I haven't listened to a lot of new music in the last, I don't know, this century. And it's really fun when I find something that is like, that's actually some of the taste that I have. So I dug it.
I love that. And I mean, I wouldn't mind to thank you in the book, you're saying. I mean, if you're gonna write a book about werewolves, Powerwolf is the fucking band I would pick. I mean, shit, that or Avantasia, but I mean, Powerwolf is definitely the topic. I mean, Werewolves from Armenia alone, I would just put that in fucking repeat. But yeah, and sorry to say, Chancy, but for this album, I had to pull a Jeremy as well here, and
that's why I kind of figured that was happening. That's why I was like, I'll stick with 5. He's probably gonna have a whole bunch. I
mean, I ranked all 11, and I'm like, only one I didn't rank is the intro, which is fucking incredible, but it's just not to me not worth putting on the ranking. But my number 11 was we take the my number 11 was we take the church by storm, because I mean that's one of like, I don't know. A lot of these are interchangeable. They really fucking are. I kept like I listened to C like 3 times today, debating back and forth which way to put things, and they're interchangeable as shit, but except for the top 5. But number 11 is we take church by storm. Number 10 was Moscow After Dark, because I love like the Russian sound of that guitar, but it's just one of those songs. It's like, it's amazing, but it's not the best. Number 9 is Wolves Against the World, because I love that's a perfect closer to me. That's a perfect closer song on their album. They do really good opener and closers tracks. They really do. Number 8 is Raise Your Fist Evangelist, because I love the ironicness of that song. And it's just the riffs in it are fucking incredible. The Grey Wolf Brothers on guitar are always fucking great. I really want to see this band live. It's like a fucking goal at this point. I might have to go to Europe to do it if they don't come back to America soon. But number 7 was Panic in the Pentagram, because as the show name tells you, I like alliteration, and Panic in the Pentagram is kind of fucking awesome. But I mean, the fact that they never will say what their religion is, because they jump back and forth between talking about the Christians, the Catholics, talking about Satanism and everything, and they never will admit what their religion is, because they say they like to talk about history. They like talking about these subjects. They just don't. They don't have to do it because this is their belief. They just want to talk about these subjects because they're fun subjects to sing about. Which,
in fact, one of the brothers was asked, "Are you Christian? Are you Satanist?" He said, "No, we're medalists."
Basically, yeah. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, I can see them saying that. And number 6 was Seven Deadly Saints, because it kind of gets old the way that guitar goes in that one, and the drums and everything. It kind of gets old, like the dun dun dun, like after a while, it's just like, okay, move on. But my number 5 is Saint Satan's Day, because I just love the lyrics in that song, and it's funny. Saint Satan, I fucking love it. And number 4 is Catholic in the Morning, Satanist at Night. Well, actually, I'm sorry, I should say Catholic in the Morning, Satanist at Night, the way they say it. And I did not know what they were saying in that song for the longest time, and then I'm like, oh, they're actually saying Catholic. What the fuck? But I love that song, and it's funny because it's all those people who are religious but actually were like in cults at night and shit. That's the funny thing. Makes you think of the old days. Number 3 was Midnight Messiah, because I love that fucking that's like one of the darkest fucking awesome songs ever. Like, and the guitar, the top three songs I have, the guitar on all of them is fucking unbelievably good, and Attila's voice always blows me away. Number 2 is Werewolves of Romania. Never trust a werewolf from the East. I live by that rule. But
that's a great line.
And number 1, it is. And number 1 is, of course, the song that got me into Powerwolf, I'm pretty sure, Resurrection by Erection, because it is the funniest fucking metal song I've ever heard. Point your phallus to the sky. Like, I fucking love it. And that's one of the songs that actually got covered by another band. It was covered by a band called Battle Beast, which has this very thick, beautiful blonde as a singer. And like, it's just, when she sings that song, it's so fucking incredibly great. Like, Resurrection by Erection is just a funny ass song. I've used it so many times. I've put it in so many, when people ask me to bring up songs, I bring up that song always, because it's just like, I fucking love it. It's just a funny ass. I can sing the whole song by heart when I'm in my car fucking going along with it. And it's just so fun. Like, I would do that in karaoke in a fucking second too. But if I get 2 songs, it might be the second song, Chancy, just saying. But so that was my top 11. And like I said, the intro is fucking incredible.
Top
but
11.
Just top 11. Yes. Hey, didn't I do like a top 19 for ICP? So
Yeah, he did. I had enough time to go make fucking ramen noodles. That took so goddamn long.
Hey, I got you. I'll let you eat. Be happy. But Dick, I'm down here with your top 5 are for Powerwolf.
Yeah. I loved Raise Your Fist Evangelist. Real catchy. I can see why this was their single from a radio side. And then why that sort of helped push the band up the charts a bit, because it's got kind of that radio feel to it. I think it was even nominated for a Metal Award as well. Panic of the Pentagram. And it's funny, you said like, oh, I can't bring Iron Maiden. There were moments in this album I felt I was listening to a bit of Iron Maiden to it. This one has got a bit of an Iron Maiden feel to it.
They definitely looked up to Iron Maiden when they were younger, I'm guessing, because I could hear it in a lot of their music. Iron Maiden, like,
hey, that's a positive for me. I dug Iron Maiden.
Yeah, some Ozzy too. I could hear some Ozzy in some of their songs too. Like,
but Panic of the Pentagram, I could definitely hear Bruce Dickinson singing that song. Seven Deadly Saints, I love that. The staccato lyrics, the fast guitar and percussion. Werewolves of Armenia kicks off where I feel like I'm in church, especially with the Latin in there. Kicking off with a phrase that means a song of the wolf. But this must be an amazing. I don't know if you've ever seen them live. This must be really cool because my guess is that the crowd chants "hoo ha" during this song. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen videos of them live, and like the crowd is chanting a lot during their songs. Everything else, and I mean, like they get the crowd to howl back at them and everything, and the people in there, like there are people in the audience that are crying because they're so happy. There's people in the audience that are just, like so taken by the music. They're dancing and shit. Like they're. Like it's like not even a mosh pit, really. It's just, I mean, there's like a pit, but like people aren't moshing; they're just like dancing in circles. Like
that's cool.
It's like an old school goth like dance off, basically. But
I really love that Wolves Against the World, the cool church organ start to it. It's one of those songs you go like, I could see them either opening or closing a show with this song. And again, some of that Iron Maiden influence, the machine gun guitar tones. And then I love that We Are the Blood Red Five, which is great. And I like you, Resurrection by Erection. What a fun song. Raise your bone to the sky and you're never going to die. No, a fun band, a really fun band. I'm looking forward to hearing more from them.
Yeah, they actually, since you talk about them live, they actually did a, the hell was it? During COVID, they actually did a live, like a live cyber show, and it was. I didn't get to see it because I didn't want to pay for it, but I mean, it was fucking incredible. I'm trying to find out what the fuck it was called. I can't find it, but and actually, yeah, you're right. Raise Your Fist Evangelist was nominated by Metal Hammer for the Metal Anthem for 2010. So
yeah.
And they won Best Album of the Year for the first album I brought in the show, Sacrament of Sin. Metal Hammer gave them Best Album of the Year, and they won Best German Band in 2015. So
it's probably, and this is no shade, this is probably one of the reasons why Chancy doesn't like it. It's definitely got we're moving into a bit more of a radio feel to it, but I come from the radio world and I like those sounds. I'm used to those kind of sounds. And so I can definitely see where this album is something that kicked them up to the next level.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
See, we weren't wrong either because their main influences are Black Sabbath, Merciful Fate, Forbidden, and Iron Maiden. So we weren't wrong.
Merciful Fate.
But yeah, I mean they're fucking incredible. What the hell was that thing called? I forget what the hell it was called. I can't fucking find it, but they did this awesome live show, and they call their concerts metal masses. Like that's what they call them. Like they think to them it's basically like going to church. So it's, I mean, and their pyrotechnics in every fucking video I've seen are so incredible. So I mean, I would love to see them live, and I could have went earlier this year, but we just didn't have the money at the time for me to go to a concert really, and I got young kids, so it's not fair to we had to find a babysitter because my wife would want to go with me, of course, and because I mean, girls at Powerwolf concerts, I mean, shit. But
so you brought up Iron Maiden. You know, it's funny because Iron Maiden I actually never really made it to radio in the U.S. I don't know what it was, a big anti-Iron Maiden thing on the radio. I don't think I ever played an Iron Maiden track in all the years I did radio. Weirdly, in
South
New
America.
Zealand, they're kind of a thing here. Even so much as like when because Bruce flies the 747, they covered the fact that he was flying in town. The news covered this. When Bruce Dickinson ended up having some medical issues, the news covered it. So I think it's one of those things like in New Zealand, like if you show a bit of love to New Zealand, they're India. And so he actually came, and I was part of a television show for 7 years. He came on our show. And so here's my bragging rights, my Bruce Dickinson moment. So I got a chance, and I never did this with guests, but I was like, I got to take a photograph with Bruce. And so I never did this. I think I did it twice. It was him and Brian Cox, the physicist. I think those are the two people I got photographs with. And so I was like, hey, great. And so we're standing there, and Bruce was in the green room, I kind of put up the horns. I was like, yeah, and he looked at me, and he jammed both of his hands in his pocket. He was like, nope, I'm not doing that. And I don't know what it was. He was probably tired, but a good cat. He was great.
Yeah, I mean, he's always busy. He's always fucking doing shit. Like he has like 7 or 8 major hobbies, and flying is one of them. But he has like 7 or 8 major hobbies. He's a fucking decorated military like veteran. Like he's fucking his story. They need to do a movie about Iron Maiden for fuck's sake. You do one about Motley Crue, which I love, but do one about Iron Maiden.
There is a doco about Iron Maiden. You can find it on YouTube. It's quite fun. And I don't want to bore Chancy with this. And I'm not being silly.
You're absolutely not boring me at all. I love Iron Maiden. Good.
I mean, great. I just know when people don't do like certain bands or something like that, you can be like, oh, God,
yeah. I'm here for it.
But no, Bruce was pretty damn funny in this because he was talking about, I can't remember the name of the original singer, but he's just got such a cocksure style to him where he was watching the band and he goes like, yeah, I can do better than that. And he just sort of launches in and steps up into the role when the opportunity provided itself. He's got that old school rocker attitude of like, you know, balls to the walls, but there seems to be a bit of a sincerity about it and something of all things, there's a bit of humility hidden in there somewhere if you look for it.
Paul Diano, that was the original singer.
I was gonna say I thought it was Philip. I was like, it's not Philip, but it starts with a P, and I can't fucking remember his name.
Paul Diano.
I love it. Yeah. But that dude's version of Murders in the Rue Morgue is amazing. That's a pretty damn. I would argue his is better.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a valid point.
Iron Maiden, I don't think would ever got as big as they are if it wasn't for South America culture, because South America embraced Iron Maiden with like a fucking passion never before seen, and that's where they got huge. Like, if you watch like their Fear of the Dark like performance in South America, like live, I think it's in Brazil. Like, oh my god, the audience is so into it. I mean, and I've talked to like people from like Mexico and South America that I worked with before in the States, and they're like, yeah, a lot of people down there are into like dark shit, so they love like Iron Maiden, those types of bands, because they think it like represents their Satanism or whatever they're into. So,
but it's always fun too to see when a member of the band comes in and changes the influences. Like we're talking about Powerwolf and how the lead singer was into Romanian werewolf legends and things like that, and how that sort of influences some lyrics in the band and sort of some of the attitudes and maybe even some of, you know, the costumes and that. And when Bruce came into Iron Maiden, I mean, it seemed like he loved classical literature, you know, Rime of the Ancient Mariner. In fact, I remember taking a literature class in high school, and I was able to quote that small passage back and impress my teacher because I knew I knew some of Rime of the Ancient Mariner by heart. It's like, oh yeah, you know, I've read. Listen to that song live on the Live After Death album again and again and again, but he thought it was just really well read when it came to my literature. But no, it's great.
It's funny you brought that song up because that was actually the album Iron Maiden's album I brought against Prince a couple months back. I brought Power Slave. So,
great.
So Chancy, I'm dying to know, what were your top 5 Powerwolf songs?
So my number 5 was Wolves Against the World. Number 4 was Panic in the Pentagram. Number 3 was Moscow After Dark. Number 2 was Catholic in the Morning, Satanist at Night. And number 1 for me was Prelude to Purgatory.
I knew it. I fucking knew it. That's why I kept mentioning the fucking intro of mine, dude. That's why I kept mentioning the fucking intro, because I knew that was going to be your thing.
Every time. Any opportunity you give me where there's an intro or a skit fucking somewhere, it's going straight to the top for me. But also, you got to give it its flowers, dude. It's not like it's just like a hokey little joke thing that I always do all the time. It's a solid song on its own. I mean,
it is, and it goes into the first song very well, but it really does. But their shit always runs together really well, and that's why I love them. But like in the first, when I brought their first album, there was a song on it called Lucifer and Starlight, and it's not very lyric heavy. It's a lot of like nature sounds and like
Yeah.
It's basically supposed to be like Lucifer landing on Earth when he got cast out.
Oh.
And it's freaking like eerily creepy, beautiful. Like it's like something you'd see in a Tim Burton movie or like something you'd hear in a Marilyn Manson album. But it's just that creepy, beautiful sound. But I don't know. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it immensely. And so happy I got to bring Bible of the Beast finally. And actually, the fact that I really got to make that fucking list of all the albums we ever brought and keep it active. But I think it's the third Powerwolf album I ever brought. I'm pretty sure. But I know I brought more Nightwish than I did Powerwolf. So
yep. And you were right. The first time you brought Powerwolf was with Fry.
That was the second time. The first time was with Jamie.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. Slash the snake bit.
Because everybody loves fucking everybody I brought it on for liked Powerwolf. That was the funny thing, except you. But
yeah, well, that's I gotta do something, shit.
But well, folks, we brought you the albums 3, and I'm excited for next week's show as well because we have a harpist coming on who also sings and I believe she's from South America somewhere. And she's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm excited for that one. But her music is actually she does like heavy metal harp playing, so it's kind of
fuck yeah.
I gotta send you her YouTube page, Chancy. But I'm
into it.
I do not know what album she's bringing yet, but we will find out soon enough. Or me and Chancy will. You guys have to wait a week, huh? But we'll figure that out next week. And we want to thank Dick for coming on because it's been a fucking awesome show. We had a lot of fun with them, and we're definitely gonna get you back on again because you're fun as shit to talk music with. So
sure.
Love to, guys. Anytime, brother.
All right. And before we wrap it up, of course, Dick, tell us about your book series because I'm actually dying to hear a little more detail. Just like a short description of what it's about. Don't give any spoilers away,
I can give you the very short version. So it's about Cain is about a wolf who gets bitten by an infected man. He wakes up the next day and he becomes human. But when the moon comes out, he transforms into a werewolf. Depending on the moon phase, sometimes he turns into a dog. And so he's now searching for the guy who bit him to find the secret to become a wolf again because he doesn't want to be human anymore. So that's basically what the entire series is about. It's a wolf that turns into a human that's trying to unlock the secrets to become a wolf once again. And it's and what's exciting is in about just a week or so, the very first audiobook, if you're an audiobook listener, because I know a lot of podcast people are, Cain, the very first audiobook is coming out, and you can check that out on Audible.
Nice.
I prefer to actually read a book. That's my preference. But
I've got it in the reading form as well.
Oh, I'm sure. I actually am an really old-fashioned person that prefer to hold a book in my hands, but due to constraints of modern day society, I have to use Kindle. But I live, and it's funny because that basic plot reminds me of an episode of X-Files when they rebooted it back in 2015, 2016. And there's a Monster of the Week episode where it's a guy who he turns into he's a swamp thing like monster, but at night he turns into a human.
So there's a similarity there. The one, like I mentioned, one difference, because as I was writing the book, being selfish as an author, I was sitting there saying to myself, like, I don't want to wait the 28 days, 29 days to have fun with this human, because when Cain, the wolf, turns into a human, he turns into naturally 6'7" French Canadian. And so this 6'7" French Canadian's going around, and I don't want to have to wait 28 days for that dude to turn into werewolf. So how can I have fun in between? And I started to wonder about this, and maybe because I think you're both horror fans, it's always a full moon. Why is it always the full moon? Why not? It's still moonlight and a half moon or quarter moon. So I started to think, well, what if, werewolf in the full moon. So what is a half moon or quarter moon? Of course, that would be lesser wolves, which are dogs. So if it's a little sliver of the moon, he turns into like a little lap dog. If it's a half moon, he turns into a pug. Everyone loves the pug. Three-quarter moon might turn into a Rottweiler, and so that's part of the fun of the story. If he goes into the moonlight when it's like a lesser moon phase, he doesn't know what he's going to turn into. And so that's part of the fun of the book.
That's awesome, dude.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
I really want some streaming service to make a fucking series out of that. I really do.
We'll see, man. We'll see. Fingers crossed. There were people sniffing around. We'll see what might happen.
I could see fucking Hulu doing such a good job with that.
That'd be awesome.
It would be
Especially that element of potential comedy there. Just the fucking bro straight up not having a good time.
Dude, it's funny because I was really, really lucky when Podium Audio came to me to do the audiobook. I was like, oh God, I just got to get the right person. They got this guy who has done like 600 different audiobooks, and he's also classically trained in opera. So he nails this because I'm real lucky. They gave me 2 narrators. So the main narrator is a young woman named Imelda, who's his partner. And she drives around for him because he can't drive. And so the main guy, Tim Campbell, he's voicing that. So good. He's so good. I can't wait for people to hear this. It's really, really good. But again, if you're old school and reading like I'm a reader as well, check out the book either in ebook or paperback and hardcover actually. But yeah, I can't wait. Audiobook comes out here real soon, and it's really amazing. And I think it's the sort of thing that some of the folks who are interested in potentially turning into a bit of a series are going to listen to that and go, I can see how to make this work, because that's where a lot of the humor is. Because in those Tim Campbell chapters, that's from Kane's perspective. We see our world through the eyes of a guy that used to be a wolf. And yeah, there's a lot of humor opportunities there. It's really a lot of fun.
I'm already getting ideas of who could play the friggin' main character. But
dude, check it out. Tell me, man, because you know what? Like I said, book 4. My thanks to Jeremy for getting me my inspiration, my album inspiration for book 4. I'm thinking that Powerwolf Bible of the Beast is going to be it.
I have a feeling that this guy might have to go to Germany to find that wolf. But maybe he hopped on ship. Maybe the wolf hopped on a ship somewhere. Who knows? But
that's right. Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I had a great time with that. You guys have a real fun show, real unique, and it's great. I really, really enjoyed it.
Thanks for saying it, man. And we're glad to have you.
Of course, we're really happy to have you. It's been a fucking amazing show. Where can they find everything about you? What's your site?
Just my name, dickwybrow.com. All the information is there, and you can find the books on Amazon. The paperbacks are available all over the place. You go to Walmart or Barnes & Noble, and if they're not in the stores, you can order them there if you prefer not to go through the Zon.
I don't mind giving Jeff Bezos my money, but
yeah, it's good.
And I got the Kindle Unlimited, so I don't know what's on there, but if it is, even better. I love Kindle Unlimited. So many fucking great books for free.
Hey, it's in Kindle Unlimited, so definitely check it out there.
Yep. All right, cool. I might start reading the first one tomorrow on my lunch break. I just might. But
do it. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what you think.
Yeah, I'll probably be able to get like 3 or 4 chapters in it. They're the same as the other books I tend to read. I mean, I'm sure they ain't no Stephen King chapters, for God's sakes. But I love Stephen King, but goddamn, some of his chapters, I'm just like, I can't get through a chapter on lunch. What the fuck? And then some of them, it's like 20 chapters in one lunch. It's like, what the fuck? Pick a pace here. But Chancy, where can they find you besides the void just being your grumpy self?
Well, I mean, the most uneventful scavenger hunt in internet history is still abounds. I have been found, and someone has forced my hand into picking an album, which will be brought next week, whether we like it or not. No, not going to give that one away until we go and do it next week. This is my actual first name on Facebook. If you can find me, then you either get a chance to potentially come on, or I have to pick your album. Okay, so then that's covered. Instagram, TikTok is the Red Eye Roundtable. And on X, or formerly known as Twitter, it is Red Eye Table.
Si, senor. Si. And you can find both of us on Facebook as the Uncensored, Unapologetic, and Untamed Podcast Collective, YouTube. Good old Facebook group there, where we stream live a lot of times, sometimes. And you can also find us on XXBaby in the Gram as that Juggalo Bastard, and on the TikTok as that Juggalo Bastard Podcast. And you can find us on YouTube as Maniacal Music Musings, or you can find us streaming live on Facebook as Parapost Network. And we also stream live on Twitter, which now allows people to comment during the lives, which is fucking awesome that they finally did that. So, X, you're doing something right, at least. Yay. And I can actually see people watching on X now. That's a whole nother development. So, X is actually finally getting in the podcast game, and it's fucking awesome. But we would like to thank Dick one last time for coming on, because he was a fucking amazing guest. And, folks, he will be fucking back. It's always any guest that we had fun with, we will definitely bring back at some point. I think actually towards this summer we might do a summer repeat and have a lot of the previous guests on that we've had fun with. So
Good.
There's some faces you might not see again, but Dick's is one of the ones you will see. So until next time, your musers are out. Someone's have to go walk our loud, annoying dogs. But peace out.
They're wolves. They're wolves.